Welcome, everyone. It's a pleasure to have you here with us for our workshop about marketing misconceptions regarding Facebook and everything you do to promote your clients, your companies. My name is Duncan Gilman. I'm the Dean of Students for Splash Media U, social media training program, and we love doing these live workshops because it gives us a chance every month to interact, well, basically live with everyone, students and non-students, and also offer some material that goes a little bit beyond what we do in our training program. And joining us also is Julio Lebron. He's our marketing coordinator who works on campus in our office at Full Sail University, for which we are our affiliate school. If you want to give a little quick shout out, Julio.
Yes. Hello, everyone. Like Duncan mentioned, my name is Julio Lebron. I'm the marketing coordinator here. So when you are interacting on our Facebook or Twitter, most likely I'll be talking to you.
This is us. I realize you're going to be looking at our presentation here, so you can put a little face with the name here, and we'll give you some more info on how to get in touch with us at the end of our workshop. We're going to keep this to half an hour as much as we possibly can, because I know everybody has other things to do, and I want to be respectful of your time. Just a quick couple of notes before we get started. We're going to have some poll questions, and Julio has kind of prepped these ahead of time so that we're sending them out via Twitter and some other places on the internet so that you can participate online virtually with us, or feel free in the chat room to answer the questions as well. So what we've done is we've labeled them as Q1, Q2, Q3. So if you would, just to help us keep everything managed here, if you would answer them with A1, A2, etc., to correspond with the questions. So again, we're going to be talking about misconceptions about Facebook. And I put together what I think are three of the biggest misconceptions when it comes to marketing on Facebook. And I wrote along with those a question to kind of get the conversation started. And again, feel free to put these out online on Twitter. And if you're on Twitter or Facebook answering these questions, go ahead, if you would, and use the hashtag Splash Workshop, and then of course A1, A2 designation so that we know which question you're answering. So we're going to go ahead and get started with Q1. And that is, what are your customers' favorite movies? Now, it sounds like a weird question to ask possibly for a conversation about Facebook, but I promise there's a deeper meaning here. So think about this. You know your customers. You should know your customers fairly well. Their age, their location. Are they married? Do they have kids? What's their education level? So judging from all of that, you may be able to narrow it down to whether they like romantic comedies. And if they like romantic comedies and you know their age, you can probably guess that they like romantic comedies from a certain era. So think about, what are your customers' favorite movies? And feel free to treat this as either a rhetorical question to help you in your marketing planning, or go ahead and, if you know the answer, fill it in the chat room or on Twitter, just to get the conversation going. Something to think about when you do your Facebook marketing is that people are going onto Facebook expecting to have conversations with friends and see pictures of their grandkids. That's what they're expecting to do on Facebook. They're not necessarily expecting to be sold a certain product or marketed to. So the number one misconception, in my view, is that my business isn't Facebook friendly. And another way of saying that is, I have nothing to post because my business is B2B, or it's all online, it's all software oriented. So I have nothing to post, or my business isn't Facebook friendly. I think that's probably one of the biggest misconceptions, certainly one of the top three that we're going to talk about today. And the reason it's a misconception is because your clients and customers certainly are on Facebook. They may just not be as receptive to, again, being sold something on Facebook or marketed to. That doesn't mean you don't have the right or opportunity to interact with them on a more conversational manner, a more conversational basis. So let's talk about some ways you can interact with customers, even if you believe that your business or your clients aren't on Facebook. And again, let me just back up a second and reassure you that they are, with well over 1 billion daily users. This went from monthly users to daily users now, so over 1 billion people, over 1 out of every 7 people on the planet are logging in and out of Facebook every single day. I'm sorry that I'm saying it like that. I can't emphasize it enough that your clients are on Facebook, whether you know it or not. Um, Even if your clients are, on the B2B side, or you work directly with businesses, the people, the human beings who run those businesses are on Facebook. And there are some ways to interact with them beyond just, posting a product update. In fact, product updates should maybe account for 1 out of every 10 posts that you do. Maybe 10% of what you do should be things directly related to products or sales. You could talk about local sports, movies, trending events like Oscar buzz. Holidays are a great thing to post. Movies, I mentioned movies, and I mentioned Oscar buzz, may not necessarily be relevant for every business, but holidays certainly are, especially if you have a holiday party. Quizzes and polls about your industry are a great way to get interactions. And I highly recommend that you directly ask for those interactions. Ask your fans and your customers to interact with you. Otherwise, they don't know to take that next step. Behind the scenes stuff is great. Splash Media U, we like to post some behind the scenes pictures when we do updates to our school, when we film new classes. We've got some photos of Julio and me behind the scenes. We like to post those. We like to post video of that. Behind the scenes stuff really gets to the human side of your business. It really lets people, your clients and customers, see that there are actually people on your side. I'm looking through the chat window, part my interruption here, as Julio has mentioned. Now, of course, if you're not hearing me, you won't hear me say this, but everyone go ahead and make sure that you are call in, clicking the microphone button. Again, I'm just duplicating what Julio was mentioning. You probably won't. I'm probably preaching to the choir here because you're already hearing my voice. But if you have any this is a good time to mention that if you have any technical issues as we go through the workshop, feel free to go ahead and chat those into the window, and we'll try to resolve those as soon as possible. Also, another quick interruption, we will be recording this workshop and posting it to our YouTube channel and a link to it on Facebook. It's not the full video on Facebook, so you'll have certainly another opportunity to watch if for any reason the signal is a little weak, the speed issues crop up. So we will be archiving this for viewing later. So behind the scenes stuff is great. Back to ways to interact with customers beyond just selling. If you think that your customers and clients may not be as receptive to that on Facebook, employee recognition, a great way to not only honor employees, but show your clients who works at the company, who is actually fulfilling your orders, however that's related to your business. That, of course, those terms may change depending on what you sell, what you provide, but show the people behind the brand. Even if it's just customer service stuff, I always recommend that businesses, that the admins of Facebook pages sign their direct messages and their replies to comments with initials or with first names. So, for example, when Julio is responding to someone on our Facebook page, if it's in a direct message or a private message, the person receiving that message does not know that it's Julio. It just says Splash Media U. So he'll sign it Julio or JL for Julio LeBron. Same thing with responses to comments. Comments are a big way that clients and customers interact with businesses on Facebook because they don't necessarily know that they can send a private message. They don't necessarily know that they can post on the page and it'll appear in the section called video posts. So responses to comments are something that we see a lot, especially on the big brands. Starbucks, Target, they'll post something about, something seasonal, and then a customer will reply on that as a comment to that post saying something about customer service, or I couldn't get my order, or I had bad customer service. Clearly has nothing to do with the original post of the business, but it's up to the business to then respond. And always good to make that as personal as possible. I got a little bit sidetracked on the idea of the behind the scenes and employee recognition, but it ties right into the next bullet point of client appreciation. Feature a client, have a client of the month, showcase what people do, especially if your clients and customers are in a variety of businesses and industries, which I imagine in most cases they are. showcase what they do, link back to them, and it's a great way to share the spotlight, which is very important on Facebook because, again, people are not there to be sold to. They're there to talk to their friends and see pictures of their grandkids. Industry news is a great way to bring things back to your industry without having to do a hard sell with every single post. You could talk about industry news. You can do some recaps and summaries. And a great example of this is Salesforce. We, along with many other businesses who have some sort of lead integration, they need some sort of customer management system. They use Salesforce or another relevant company, but Salesforce does a great job of that variety of posts, industry news, recaps, summaries, holidays. So you can see two examples here from the Salesforce Facebook page. The one on the left there, 5 ways to increase happiness. Now, they actually wrote a blog. Salesforce, a separate subject, does a great job of incorporating these topics and subjects into their blog. But just an example of ways to branch out beyond what you think of directly related to your business. This is an indirect relation to the business of Salesforce. Salesforce wants businesses to succeed. Success is indirectly related, so that's what this post is about. The one on the right, just a generic holiday post, but look at the difference in these. So the one on the left is a link, got 48 reactions. You can see down there at the bottom, 16 shares. The one on the right, 148 reactions and 12 shares. So of course, the one on the left is more valuable information, so it got more shares. The one on the right is just a quick little, and you can't see it here on my screen, but it was actually it was a GIF. It was an animated picture there. Something easy for a customer or client to just quickly react to. And reactions, if you don't know, are those likes, hearts, happy face, or a laughing face, angry face, sad face. Those are called reactions. So more reactions to maybe the quick little holiday post, but more shares on something valuable. Both are very important for your business. Let's go back to you, something to think about for as you're planning your Facebook strategy. What % of your posts use multimedia? Speaking of the GIF we were talking about there, the animated photo, the nice big metadata that you can pull in when you're doing link posts, what % would you say of your posts currently you're using photos, videos, live videos? Something very important to consider as you consider what types of posts you interact with. When you're scrolling through your Facebook feed, what do you click share on? What do you click like on? What do you find is worth commenting on? I think one of the other biggest misconceptions about Facebook, and this may throw you for a loop, is that photos get the most engagement. This used to be true. It used to be the case that number one way to reach your organic audience, because as you may have heard, organic reach on Facebook has been declining significantly over the last couple of years. But the number one way used to be photos. And if you didn't have photos, then maybe a link post, and then maybe just a plain status or text post. And the way people got their links out there, the way brands used to get their links out there was instead of doing a link post, which came in second to the amount of engagement to a photo post, they would actually post a photo and then put the link in the caption. This was a process we actually recommended. We taught businesses and still teach this as one way to get your information out there. But we taught this as the way you should broadcast on Facebook. Don't use a link because it doesn't get as much interaction as photos. Use a photo and then put the link in the caption. It actually turns out, as we've progressed further into the lifespan of business pages on Facebook, that the quality is always going to beat the category. Maybe that goes without saying, but I think it's worth repeating, even if you've heard it before. The content quality always beats out the content hype. So if you have a very engaging text post, it will do very well. If you know how to ask the right kind of question, maybe it's a little bit controversial, maybe it sparks some kind of a little bit of anger, if it's the right kind of topic in your clients and your customers, that will beat the fact that it's just plain text. Because what we've evolved through is that then video became the most important. Video became higher rated in terms of how much, on average, engagement it got, and then followed by just the plain text. and then links, and then photos very last. So I think what we're seeing is a trend toward the, as it always should be, and usually has been, that the quality of that content is going to get more interaction than the type. Right now, we're seeing, as you see, my third series in the evolution here of what gets interaction is live video. And I was just talking to Julio before we started that live video is actually now available for desktop, for the web version of Facebook. So not only do you have live video in your pocket, you can take out your smartphone and shoot some video on the fly that streams directly to Facebook. You can also do it from your desktop. So imagine the kind of reach you can have now. Instead of doing a photo update behind the scenes, have someone from your company, the CEO, the CMO, somebody who feels comfortable talking on camera just for a few seconds or a few minutes at a time, sit in front of the desktop, sit in front of the web version, and do a live update. Here's where we are in 2017. Here's what we're looking forward to next month. Here's some things we've got coming down the road. Imagine the kind of reach you can have if you just take a few. It does, and here's the cool thing: it doesn't take up any more time. It doesn't take you more time to do live video. In fact, it probably takes you less time because you don't have to worry about finding the right photo or the right graphic or sending it to your graphics person and getting it back. It takes probably less time for you to do live video as long as you have an appropriate looking background, as long as you can ensure that your audio is working. Imagine the kind of reach you can have if you change those updates and do live video now. But the reason I didn't include the same bullet points underneath the third one is because, again, it's about the variety, it's about the quality. And we've got some great answers from, for those of you following along or maybe not following along in the chat window. Brian says, photos 95%, videos 3%, links 2%. Robin says, in terms of what percent, 99% photos or photos with links. So what I recommend now is that you try some of these other methods. Try videos, try the link post. The link post actually, if it's valuable content, evergreen content that people want to share, does very well. The important thing to consider, and we actually we've touched on this in a couple of previous workshops. The important thing to consider is how your metadata looks when you post those links. And if you refer back to a couple of our other workshops, we have them posted on youtube.com/splashmediau. And Julio, if you want to just throw that into the comment, the chat window there, youtube.com/splashmediau. We talk about how to get the most out of those link posts, how to get the best, the right dimensions, the best looking photo that accompany the link post. And I'm not talking about a photo with a link in the caption. I'm talking about the kind of link post where you can click directly on it and it takes you to your website or the content that you're linking to. All right. Question number 3. Poll question number 3. How often, thanks, Julio. So Julio has a direct link to the our YouTube channel, so you can check out some of our previous workshops where we talk about getting the most out of images and link posts. How often, for question number 3, how often do you check your insights? When I'm talking about insights, I'm talking about the analytics section of your Facebook settings, your Facebook page settings. As an admin of your Facebook page, you have access to a certain set of metrics and statistics directly related to the interactions and likes and everything that fans and customers, clients can do on your page. So my question is, how often do you check those? How often do you go back and really see, well, what kind of content worked best? What kind of content wasn't working? Because you can break it down that way. So I highly recommend that you spend a few minutes each week. If you can do it every day, great. Most of us don't have time to do it every day. But if you have a few minutes each week, go into your Facebook Insights and see what kind of content got more engagement, what kind of content got more reach, because there is a difference. What kind of content got more click-throughs, and rotate it out. Add some more variety in there to keep testing what works best for your clients. Because one of the misconceptions, I think this is the last one we're going to talk about, and still, one of the top 3 in my mind is people who have liked my page will see what I post. If you are a veteran to Facebook, you know this is not the case. but I still hear from a lot of people. I talk to a lot of, in addition to what I do for our training program, I do still talk to a lot of businesses. And one thing I hear a lot from people who are new, relatively new to Facebook, is that, oh, well, if I could just get more likes, if I could just get more likes on my page, then more people will see what I do. That is incorrect, unfortunately. The competition for those eyeballs on Facebook has gone up so much. There are millions of pages out there, and when I say pages, I mean business pages, competing for those same customer and client views, that it's a huge, steep climb to get any sort of organic reach. You have to continually innovate and change up the kinds of things that you post, and continually check those insights to make sure that what you're posting out there is as engaging, as interactive as possible, to keep those clients coming back. Because what happens is you may get some initial likes on the page, and then if those same people don't continue to interact, don't continue to leave reactions, in other words, click like, click love, click haha, click sad, click angry, if they don't interact, or and going along with interactions, if they don't click share, don't click comment, if they don't continue to do those things on the individual posts, they will stop seeing your posts, because Facebook has determined through its algorithm that they're not interested anymore. So maybe I use a lot of these big brands as an example. Maybe I like shopping at Whole Foods, so at some point I'll see an ad or something, or something will make me click like on a Whole Foods post or on the page. If I stop interacting, if I don't click like on any of their follow-up posts, or don't click comment, or don't click share, Facebook will stop showing me those posts, because clearly I'm no longer interested. We've got some great answers from some of our viewers from our third poll question. Check insights once a week, twice a week. That's fantastic. One of our viewers says checking insights twice a week is a great way to stay on top of things. So remember, what I recommend you do, the number one way I recommend you use insights is as a content generation machine. A lot of people don't think of insights as a way to get more content, but it really is. You go to your insights and you see which posts did the best. What time did I post them? What was the content? Was it a video? Was it a live video? Was it a link? And you do more of that. You change up the headline, you change up the content a little bit, but it's the same type of post, same time of day, same day of the week, and you do more of what works and less of what doesn't work. So using insights, going into insights once or twice a week, is the best way to not only give yourself a little gut check for the progress and performance of your page, but also to generate more content that you know works for the future. And here's some examples of that. I put together some examples of how to overcome that slump of maybe initially you get a bunch of people to like your page. You get your friends and family to click like. We're really on a roll now, and then nobody interacts with those posts. So here are some ways to overcome the slump. And what I did is I put them in two different categories. I gave some temporary fixes, and I gave some long-term fixes. On the temporary side, now these are both good. I'm not knocking the temporary side. These are both good, and I recommend that you try both. When I say both, I mean both columns. So on the temporary side, something like a boosted post is a great way to temporarily get that reach back up, because what a boosted post, if you're not familiar with it, what a boosted post does is it forces that content, one piece of content, back into the feed of people who may have clicked like on your page and then have stopped seeing subsequent posts because they have not interacted with them. It forces that post back into their feed. And just like any regular ad on Facebook, which I'm sure you've seen if you're active on Facebook, it will say sponsored. Underneath it in little print, it says sponsored, and you'll know that it's a sponsored post. But what most people, I think, in this day and age of advertising online probably don't pay quite as much attention to that, especially with the kind of advertising that Facebook and Twitter both do, where the advertising is native to the Facebook platform. It appears right inside your feed, and it's not as noticeable as something like a Google ad, which appears at the top or bottom, or elsewhere on the page if you're on a blog, at the side. So the benefit of something like a Facebook boosted post is it appears right within the feed of the people you're trying to reach. And that's a great way. And again, it's a temporary fix. It's not a permanent, Band-Aid. It is a permanent oxymoron, permanent Band-Aid. It is a Band-Aid. It's not a permanent solution. We'll get to some of those in a second. On-page or off-page promotions. These are great for, again, to trying to spur some of that more organic side reach. If you want to have a little contest right on your Facebook page, um, 18 months ago or so, year and a half, maybe 2 years ago, it's been a while. Facebook finally said it's okay to have a campaign or a contest on the page itself. You used to have to get some kind of a third-party contest app to run those. That's no longer the case. You can have any sort of a comment to win, or some kind of a using Facebook features to run a little quick on-page promotion. You could do the same thing with off-page too. You could a temporary fix, make sure you have Facebook linked to from your email signature on your business cards, a signage have some signage in your storefront. If you have a store, have your office, make sure that people know, it's always in their face, they know that you're on Facebook and you encourage their participation. Again, doing these things here and there, these are temporary fixes and they're great for spurring interaction, not long-term fixes. On the long-term fix side, having the kind of value first, and I mean the kind of educational content, informative content that your clients and customers need, having that value first content and linking to it from Facebook is a great long-term fix, because you're giving them something ahead of time. You're not saying buy my product and then we'll give you this value. Give them the value first. A marketing term from a while back used to be value add. Value add's not enough in social media. It has to be value first, because they'll go somewhere else. People in the social media modern day that we're this modern social media marketing world that we're in, people expect to have the value first. And so what you can do is create that content ahead of time, have a series of evergreen content that you can link back to every once in a while and put that back onto your page, and make sure that you do what we were touching on before, have the interactive, attention grabbing, eye catching visuals to go along with it, and that will help spur some of that engagement, help create some of that, bring back some of that organic reach that you may be lacking. And then of course, mix and match. Once in a while with that evergreen content, boost it. Put $10, $20 behind it to force it back into people's feeds. That will prime the pump, so to speak, and get those Facebook users coming back to your page. I highly recommend having a calendar to get your employees on board. You have a huge asset, even if you just have a couple of employees working with you, or even if you're work solo. I'm sure there are some people, some partners you can turn to help you with this. One of your biggest assets, if not your biggest asset, that's your employees, because they all have Facebook profiles. And I don't recommend that they sell 24/7, because their friends are going to get tired and they're going to unfriend them. If they are constantly, I'm sure you've run into this, they're constantly selling, for your business. It's nice, their hearts are in the right place, but their friends are going to unfriend them and they're not going to be very popular if they're constantly selling. However, if there's a valuable piece of content once in a while that they can offer, they have the opportunity to help bring back the organic reach of your page by clicking share, by clicking comment. Comment actually is one of the easiest ways to do this. If you can have a rotating schedule, and this is what I mean by a calendar or a participation schedule. If your employee, John, knows it's his turn on Thursdays, every Thursday, to put a comment onto one of your Facebook posts, that is a non-intrusive way to bring back organic reach, because comments are enormously valuable to your page's organic reach, because it tells Facebook, ooh, people are interested in this post. Maybe we'll show it to more people. People are interested enough to comment or click share. It must be worth sharing to a wider audience. So again, a comment is perfect because a comment is more valuable than a reaction, but it's not as intrusive as a share for John and his friends. So your employee, John, may not want to overload his own timeline with the business's posts, but he can comment on one of the page's posts and have it and still show Facebook that there's value in it, still show it to more people, but again, make it not as intrusive on his own personal timeline. So set up a calendar. John's turn is on Thursday. Wendy's turn is on Friday. Like, I really should come up with more creative names. And go through this so that they know at 10 o'clock on Thursday, it's my turn. I'm going to go leave an innocuous kind of little innocent comment on one of the posts just to say something quick, something related to the post itself. Last thing is always be ready to post. Now, I mentioned live video is now available on the web version, on desktop for Facebook. But what's more valuable to your overall marketing strategy is always being ready to post whenever something relevant happens. And here is my most recent and current favorite version of this. Our campus is in Orlando on the Full Sail campus, our office for Splash Media U, but I actually work from the West Coast. My home base is in Portland, Oregon, and it has made national news. I don't know if you've seen any of it. We're snowed in. We've been snowed in for a week now, and we're starting to get a little stir crazy in the city. But what the Oregon Zoo did brilliantly is capitalize on the snow. So someone was able to get some live video footage or some video footage. Actually, this may not have been live, but it was just video footage. They put together a little edited video of some of the animals. Gosh, I highly recommend that you go see this. Just go to the Oregon Zoo. After we're done here, first thing you need to do is go to the Oregon Zoo page and go back to the January 11th post. And if you haven't already seen it, maybe you have seen it because it's got 17 million views. So yeah, a couple people are commenting and say they saw it. So look at what this did. I took a look. Facebook allows you to see some of the metrics for pages. When you click on page likes, you can actually do this. I'm not an admin of the Oregon Zoo page, but you can actually click on a page where it says this number of likes, and it'll give you some basic rudimentary stats. So look at this. I mean, it's crazy. So the gray line at the bottom, that's last week. I don't know if you can see it. Here, let me switch over to my, let me get my little tool here, see if I can switch over, annotate. There we go. See if I can do this. So this is, oh, can I annotate? Oh, there we go. Let's see if I can do this. Oh, there we go. Hopefully you can see that on my screen. So look at that. This last week, this gray, I'm going to just go, look at this. And then look what this video did. And all they did was just go film animals playing in the snow. Of course, everybody loves animals, so it's easy for the zoo to do it because look at that. Look at that spike. 17, no other video has, from their channel, I said channel, but from their page, has this kind of engagement. 17 million views down there. Check that out. Just unbelievable. I don't think you can see it on here. I didn't get this part in the screenshot, but it has 500,000 shares. 500,000 people thought this was cute enough to share. And I'm sure you'll agree when you go check it out. Anyway, that's what I mean by being ready. Now, of course, I don't expect you to get 17 million views. Don't expect your videos to go viral. It's just not a reasonable expectation to have. But this is what you can get. This is a taste of what you can get when you're always ready to share. You're always ready to post. And when you have a smartphone in your pocket, and especially with live video, you can be. Thank you so much for attending our I'm soon to switch back out of my annotation view here. Thank you so much for attending our workshop today. Got all my annotations still out here. Let me clear those away. Here we go. There we go. It was such a pleasure, as always, coming to you live. We're going to do this again in February. We do this every month. February's topic is selling the story. How to take your customers on a magical journey so that you can really explain to them not just what it is that you do, really more importantly, why it is what you do. That's really the question we want to answer when we meet again in February for our topic, selling the story. So as Julio is answering now, there will be a replay. We're going to archive this and share it on YouTube and on Facebook, of course, since we were talking about Facebook today. We'll share it all across our social media platforms. Thanks again for attending. I'm happy to stay on for a couple more minutes and answer any questions that you have. You had some great answers for our questions. And if you have any questions now, anything we didn't cover, feel free to oh, thanks, Julio. Julio linked to the snow day video. Perfect. I'm glad to do that. I didn't set that up ahead of time, so thanks for doing that. So now you can just click directly from there. Hope this answers some of your questions about how to overcome that Facebook slump, how to get beyond some of these misconceptions that a lot of marketers still have. I'm going to stay on just for a couple more seconds here. If you have any questions, feel free to submit them in the comment chat window there. Oh, thanks, Carrie. Thanks for the shout out. Appreciate that. Thanks so much, everyone. It looks like there aren't any follow-up questions, but that doesn't mean there won't be down the road. So you can tweet to me at Duncan Gilman. You can tweet to Julio. Julio answers. He's great about answering the Splash Media U tweets at Splash Media U. Of course, our topic was Facebook, so please feel free to leave a comment, a post, a private message on our Facebook page. Thanks so much. We will see you again in February.